In the studio, I told you we've got some special guests. I've got Teresa Magaya. She is the chairperson of the Zimbabwe Women's Soccer League. Teresa, how are you doing?
I'm really fine, and I'm actually happy because at least we've achieved one of the things that we had planned, and I'm so happy about that.
I told you it's a feel-good story because we're already talking about the fruits of what Teresa and company are doing. Also joining us in the studio is Terence Malunga. He is the founder and CEO of the Southern African Football Business Forum. And I know people will be asking, what is the link here? Welcome to the couch. Welcome. This is not your first time here, but it's good to have you back on the couch, Terence. It's
always a pleasure, Howard. I mean, it's always quite incisive, and the discussions are always lively when you have, I'm not so sure, Mkoma Maketo or Senku or David, but my brother always says it's always going to be interesting to always try and unpack what's really happening in the space. And obviously mentioning the Southern African Football Summit, obviously you have left the women's. There is a tag women's in between.
There's a women's something in between.
Yeah. Because apparently what we're having this year is the Southern African Women's Football Forum. And obviously that because I'm trying to bring in the link where the link is at. And
I see what you're trying to do there.
Yeah, exactly. so it's a pleasure being here, and always a pleasure talking about football.
It's a pleasure to have you on the couch. So I know we want to talk about you know, the exciting thing that has happened in women's football. There was a huge sponsorship. It has never happened before. I know back in the day where we hosted the COSAFA women's tournament here, there are all the countries that play women's football in Southern Africa came to Zimbabwe, and some big corporates that were sponsoring football then. But now for the league, something big, $320,000 happened this. But just take us through what really happened. Because we're talking about a new dawn, you know, and all that. What really happened?
Okay, for the beginning, when we started to get into this league this year, in April, our goal was to actually look for sponsorship. And we know we've just achieved it. It was not easy, really, to approach the prophet for the sponsorship. But we realized that he's a humble man, and he's very passionate to football. And he actually changed his mind to be passionate for women's football. He's a man of God, and is somebody who loves football. It was not even difficult for us to approach him. It was just a one-word answer, because he really wanted to help the girl child. So we had to knock the door. It wasn't all that difficult. We were accepted, and we ended up getting the 320,000 sponsorship deal.
So Prophet Walter Magaya with his Heart Foundation pouring in $320,000 US into the women's game, and which I know during your heydays you were a defensive link, you know, in Spanish they call it libero, you know, spraying passes. Which way were you spraying passes here in this whole deal?
Well, I think. Like I said, if football calls, it's always a pleasure being around the ball and being around football. And for me, obviously, I mean, my interest has been more on football business, and this is probably where the chairperson was trying to get us to. That we looked around and we tried to find sponsorship. I came in as the league consultant, so through our company, the Team and Sports, we came in as the league consultants. We were assisting the league in trying to get sponsors, and also in trying to ensure that at least that arrangement gets to consummate, get to bear fruits, which fruits we have seen on Friday with the launch itself. And I think one thing that was key here was we needed to have a little bit of breadth, and this is the dawn that you're talking about. We needed to have some sort of recognition in terms of the women's game. And if you ask me from a purely business perspective, this is a growing phenomenon. Look at the numbers from the last World Cup. They show you and they tell you that this is a game and it's a unique product that everybody else, even the media, every other stakeholder need to appreciate and get to really align with, because it's on the growth, not just in the viewership, but also look at the talent, look at the acquisitions. Now the players are getting to be acquired to close to $1 million per player. We have seen it happening just next door with the player next door. So this is for us the start, and this is for us why we felt we needed to also align ourselves and come in as a consultant for the sponsorship together with the league.
In fact, whilst you're touching on that, I think the most expensive African footballer from the women's side, Rachel Kudananji of Zambia, going for over 800,000,
yeah,
you know, to the US. This is where the game is going. Yeah. So I want to bring in Veronica here, because you've been writing about women's football for a long time.
Yeah.
So from 2016, our game was up there, and you saw the decay. You know, up until now, you know, we were playing nations like Zambia, but Zambia were the World Cup. We were rooting for them. And I was talking about the huge scorelines at the Olympic Games. But you look at Zambia, you know, they were getting beaten 2-1, 5-3, and there is growth in their game. Why? Because there is money there. Money is like oil. It lubricates everything. But here, it was lacking. How far behind are we? Because we didn't have this kind of money.
I think I would, for a nation that was up there in 2016, barely 4 years later, we are now down there. I think we've lost so much. And probably now, because of this windfall that came through the sponsorship, it's probably time for us to start rebuilding now. Because at least we have few problems to be focusing on. Issues of remuneration are no longer going to be a problem now. So now it's probably time to focus elsewhere, to focus in development. How do we develop the game so that we reclaim our sport up there? But now the issue is this sponsorship really going to be channeled where it's supposed to go? These are some of the issues that we really need to be looking at.
It's your premier football show, The Couch, Wednesday at 9 p.m. Konapo, Ipapo, Pazetium Prime, DSTV channel 294, the place to be.